And having been in business for 35 years, I wanted to share 3 basic principles that have helped make me a success. And maybe they can help make you a success. First of all, time is so important. I've completed, I don't know, several years here, and you mastered. I mean, this university is just a wonderful school, and like she said, my son graduated from here a few years ago, and he got a great education. So you've got a great tool in your toolbox to move forward. So in time is so valuable. Yesterday is already gone, so you don't need to worry about that. You don't need to fret over it. It's gone. You can't change it. It's happened. So the only time that you look back is if you're measuring how far you've succeeded or how far you've come. So be in the present, because the future hasn't happened yet. It's not now. You need to make use of the time that you have now. So the second thing is passion, and I chose to do construction. I have a passion for construction. I love construction. I love being able to build something and see it there. I mean, just like Avoca Apartments. I did that 18 years or 19 years ago, and they're still there. I can still look at that and say, hey, that's one of my jobs. That's something that I did. So I'm passionate about it, and I encourage each of you, whatever you choose, whatever job, if you're going to be an entrepreneur, if you're going to work for somebody else, to be passionate about what you do. Because if you're passionate about it, you're going to do a much greater job. If you're not passionate about it, you're not going to do a good job. You might do what's necessary, but just think, if you're doing something that you're really passionate about, you're really going to give it your all. And you're going to do that little bit extra. So the next thing is decisions, or going to business principles. Decisions are a big thing. The decisions that you make today make a difference in your life tomorrow. I know early on in construction, me just being a white woman in construction in a town that's the majority is Hispanic, and in construction I dealt with a lot of men and a lot of Hispanic men. I mean, when I would first deal with them, they would look at me and like, what do you know? You're just a white woman. So, and even when I'm dealing with my same race, and we're in a business meeting and they're talking to me, if I have a man standing beside me, they will look at the man, because a man probably knows about construction, not a woman. And then whenever I would quit talking, they would look at the man again. And then when I would be answering the construction question that has to do with what we're talking about, they would look at me briefly, but then their eyes would go back to a man. So early on, I made the decision that, it doesn't matter. I have self-confidence, I know what I know, and I just believed in myself and did a good job and moved on. Another decision that I made early on in my business was to partner with like businesses. Being a general contractor, you hire subcontractors, and so I wanted to team myself with other people that thought like me, that wanted to give a good value for a good price and meet the client needs. So I partnered with those kind of companies and built relationships with them because I wanted to present a good value to my client. So I just made that decision, and it has really helped me. The other thing is performance. The people that I decided to do business with or work with to do my job, they always would go the extra mile, and that's something that I always did. And if you think about it, a racehorse in a mile run, a racehorse that just did a few seconds faster was worth twice as much. So that just told me that going the little bit extra in my business, communicating a little bit more, keeping my client informed, made so much more difference instead of just getting the job done. But communication is a real big thing, and communication is big in your relationships too. I know Sister Kathleen here at Incarnate Word, she always told me, well, you don't know what the other person thinks until you ask them. Don't assume things, ask the question. Communicate, and then you know. The other thing, building relationships is real important, and that's the third principle that I wanted to share with you today. I know that being in the construction, I got involved in a trade association called the National Association of Women in Construction. I got on the board, and then this lady, then the next thing I know, I'm the president, and then the next thing I know, I'm on the national board and being, regional director, which was all good. But that relationship, being in that industry, I had a job that I was doing one time, and at the end of the job, you don't get paid till the job's done. So this one particular job, I had all the punch lists done, everything was almost complete, but the electrician had overcut an electrical outlet, and so there was a big hole in the wall where it was supposed to be a small hole that a cover plate would cover. Well, if you're not an electrician, you can't go to the electrical supply place and get an oversized outlet cover. But because of my relationship in Women in Construction, the electrician that I knew, I called her up and I said, look, can you help me out here? She said, yeah, look, I got an account there. I'll tell them you're on your way. Go pick it up. You can get it and you can get your money. And that makes a big difference on payday whenever you have to pay all your subs and pay all your employees. So I really appreciated that relationship that I had built, and that helped me out at the last minute. Another example I want to share with you is when before they did the building that we just left from, the old cafeteria, and I'm not for sure it was around 2006 or whenever it was, but it was a while ago. But anyway, Cisco is who does all the food operations here. And at the beginning of this project, we renovated that, and this is when we installed the Chick-fil-A here, or built had that one finished. But anyway, Cisco, we had a short timeline. We had to go after the semester ended and before fall semester started, we had to renovate the cafeteria. Well, Cisco, being a great partner and a team player with us, they gave everybody, before we started the job, they gave everybody a banquet dinner. We had prime rib, we had shrimp, we had all the stuff. And really never before had I, in 35 years of business, had I ever had a client do this for me. But anyway, this helped build the team and bond us together. And let me tell you, every issue that came up on that job, and when you're dealing with buildings that are 50 years old or more, you don't know what's behind those walls. You don't know what you're going to run into. You don't know what issues you're going to have. But everything that we had and we did, because they had given them something in the beginning to say, we want to work together, this is important. We communicated that to everybody. We all worked together. We all had a great time. We got the job finished in time. Everybody was happy. Everybody won. But again, this was relationship building. This was a team effort. So I encourage that. And so in closing, I want to tell you that in my business decision, one of the things that I decided on was to base my business principles on biblical principles. Our Constitution is based on biblical principles, and I just thought if I follow the biblical principles, everything's going to be okay. And during my years of business, I'll tell you, being a general contractor, you have ups and downs and ups and downs. It's either feast or famine, but you learn to deal with the valleys, and you learn to just be happy in the high times. So in closing, I'm going to read this because I just found it on Facebook. But let me tell you that all of you can make a difference, and I encourage all of you to get involved. Whatever industry that you go on, don't just do your job and go home. Do something else besides that. Get involved in your communities. And there are so many differences. I mean, so many different churches, so many different, just so many different people going in all different ways. But what I would encourage you to do is find your commonalities, find the basic principles that all of you can live by and all of you can build on and all of you can grow with. And I just encourage you to get involved in whatever you do and do your best. Do the best that you can, and you'll feel good and better about yourself. And so God gave you a fingerprint that no one else has, so you can leave an imprint that no one else can. So hopefully you will all be blessed. You've got a great tool graduating from Incarnate Word, and I just hope that all of you use the knowledge that you have learned here to further your career and further your life. Thank you.